Or does it matter?
We should be able to remember that.
Yeah. Incorrect. Okay, so that has to be a capital P. Incorrect.
You'll have to eat all those.
I have to eat all of those.
And it's a small P too, isn't it?
It's a small P?
Did you get online? Because I
Maybe it doesn't make any difference.
I had a capital P in there.
Strangers.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
You can go home?
Yeah, right on.
It's not taking that either, Jim.
Surprised somebody didn't
Hi,
take
Tom.
that hat for a
I know, I'm still faithful. That's ugly, isn't it, huh?
I don't know what it is, it looks
What's
different.
New
that?
four.
Patriots.
Is that what it is, new
The
floor?
table's missing, that's like a comparative picture, you know,
It
each
is
circle
new
is
four.
different. Okay, really?
Still
Not many meetings.
Can you get online? Because I can't, it just says I'm offline.
Jan, it was just Pittsfield, that's it?
I think so.
Oh, sorry, Steve, you found it, right?
Yeah.
I
The,
didn't
the network.
know. The red light's on.
Yeah.
The password is Pittsfield.
Pittsfield, small P, big P.
Big, 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 big,
A
big,
big P?
capital P.
What's that do?
Get into the council chamber website.
Says incorrect password.
No, not working.
Is that important?
Well, I mean, if we want to get out to a video, and it says
Yeah.
Apparently not.
No, it says I'm offline.
Won't work.
Geez, it's been since August? Really?
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Long, long time.
And as we get older too, it flies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tell me about it. Wake up in the morning and you've got this short list that's like an hour's worth of work. At the end of the day, you're halfway down the list, you go, what happened?
Patience though. Patience though.
Nothing moves as fast as it used to, except time.
Time. Yeah.
I stopped using the list a long time ago, it made me feel bad.
It makes you feel really bad. I don't do this anymore either. It
'Cause I-
just hurts too much.
The list never gets shorter, it just gets longer.
You get one done and then something gets added to the top of it.
Oh, yeah.
Not worth it.
I ended up pulling the wells. Well, we had a pump go bad a few weeks ago.
How deep was it?
The well's 800 and something.
Oh,
The pump was 600.
That's bad enough.
That's really
Wow.
deep.
And you did it yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't gonna pay nobody to do that.
Those one guys got those big reels and pull it right out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got a wheel that goes on and we pull over with a loader or skid steer.
Yeah, but you pull it all the way
The
down.
problem is, I couldn't see the guy on the skid steer. I got to the end and I couldn't get him to stop fast enough because the pump coming up, bang, pops off and he goes,
Oh, no.
God.
Gone.
Well,
So you need a new pump then?
Well, I had a new pump anyways.
All right.
'Cause it done, that was 18 years in there.
So it
Is that
just
your
goes
house,
down,
Paul?
doesn't come back ever again.
So my pump's sitting at 600 feet, the well's 800, so the old pump isn't gonna hurt nothing.
is that at your house, Tom?
And at the barn.
Or at the barn?
Yeah, we got 3 wells. And
How many gallons per minute are you get there?
that well is the smallest capacity one. It's probably only 5.
Yeah. Is that the reservoir's so deep in it, right? Why?
Well, I've got another one that's probably, it's only 150 feet apart, and that one's probably 10, 12 range.
It's strange.
But, we still don't, I have 4,000 gallons worth of storage. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I can have 4,000 gallons worth of storage and still pumping 10 or 15 gallons a minute and run out of water by the afternoon. In the summertime, between cows and everything else, we'll use, 10 or 15,000 gallons a day easily.
Simone, did you just get online?
I'm just
Pulling all
I'm
that out
trying
of the
right
ground.
now.
What's that?
You're pulling all that water out of the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. I would suggest that we
Since I'm off.
start.
You get a reservoir.
Oh, well, I'm not-
Yeah, we got 2 tanks.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I'm not going to, it's been a while, I'm not going to go through and have everybody introduce themselves.
Name
Who we are. Yeah, we need to have name tags. We do have a resignation, but Mo is the next one up, so if he were here tonight, he would be the new member of the council.
That's right, yeah.
Of the council. We do have somebody that has put in a request to be on the planning board, and that will be approved at the meeting next week.
Taking. No.
No, Mo steps up to take.
Okay, yeah. Right.
Mo steps up and then
Yeah,
Rob
Mo
is
takes
next
it.
in line. And so the person coming on is going to be the number 2 in terms of alternate.
Is it a secret name?
Can I say who it is?
Yeah, I do know.
Stan Short. Then maybe we can get him to make some kind of an animal out of something.
Why does that name sounds familiar, but I don't.
He was our legislator.
Oh, okay.
But he also has the place out in town that has all the sculptures.
The Red House. on
The Red
Howard
House.
Avenue.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we are in terms of staff. I would like to add one other item to the agenda and do that right here. And if we could make this a regular to put on there. And I'd look for a motion to approve the proposed agenda for tonight as presented.
Approve the motion for tonight.
Make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight as presented.
Oh,
A second.
Okay. Now, you know why we're doing that?
Yes.
Just in case we want to add something, or we want to take kind of something away. I think it just keeps it a little bit cleaner. So, all those in favor? Oh, well, first of all, go down and look at the agenda. Is there anything anybody wants to add? I'm not going
Motion to approve
to move to approve the agenda, tonight's proposed agenda is presented.
the agenda. It's a nice, okay.
I'm not going to add anything anyhow. I want to get home before it snows. Okay. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Who is the people that,
Anna,
yes, no,
Anna made the motion, Simone seconded.
yeah.
and Tom?
Okay, so now we have a couple of previous meetings. So I'm looking for approval of the minutes of the meeting of June 10th. That was an exciting meeting, actually, when we look back at those minutes.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of June 10th.
Is there a second?
Okay, what was that meeting about?
I'll second it, but if you want.
Brent seconded it. It's kind of hard to remember if anything is not accurate because it's been a while, but.
I don't remember any of it because I wasn't there.
Long term feels better than short term, though.
That's a good thing, and you don't remember it.
And I didn't see anything on there. The only thing my wife commented on is my name is mentioned too often. So we have a motion and a second. No further discussion. All in favor of accepting the minutes of the June 10th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? And the second one is the adoption of the minutes of the August 12th meeting.
I make a motion we accept the minutes.
Do we recommend changes first, or what do we do?
Let's have a motion first,
Okay.
and then we can then go ahead and change it. So we have a motion
Good motion.
and a second.
Sure.
Okay. Are there any corrections or additions?
Yes, yeah, just a couple of corrections on the members present. It says I was present, and also says I was absent. And then,
So
yeah,
make
then,
up your mind.
I wasn't here. That's the choice. Then on the site plan review ordinance posted by Ron Watson and Brent Newell, I wasn't here for that meeting. That's the only thing I saw.
Okay. Any other changes?
Do we correct spelling and things like that? Because, and I'm not sure which thing I was reading, but I don't know how important is that?
That's not an issue anymore, is it? Neither is grammar.
Good, okay, well,
I
fair.
don't know, I'm just going by.
Never mind.
Any other corrections or changes?
Which one meeting was it again?
It's the
Oh,
August 12th.
August 12th.
Yeah, then the first members present, Steve.
After my name, Brent's name should be crossed out.
Okay.
And then on the 1.1, it has Ron and I posting it, and it's just wrong. Not such a big deal now, but.
No, that's not fine. Oh, I had a copy.
Yeah, while we're waiting for Steve to fumble, there's cookies in the box over there, so I'll get some.
It says the dates, so.
Can I borrow yours?
Yeah.
I just wanted to make reflections on that.
He wasn't here.
Yeah.
I just made them up.
I saw you sweating all the way
I
there.
This was not what I read.
Later. Steve, you want? Push it.
No, no.
No, that's wrong. That leaves me there. Oh.
Okay, any other changes to those minutes? All those in favor of the minutes as corrected, you signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Well, any opposed? Okay. Steve, should I read into the record Dawn's letter of resignation?
Well, probably wouldn't be a bad idea because everyone has a copy. You can, I guess, vote to accept it maybe.
Yeah. Do I have a motion to accept Vaughn's letter of resignation for the...
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second.
Come on, second.
Yeah. Tom made the motion.
Who's saying?
Simone seconded.
Okay.
Tom made the motion. All those in favor of accepting the letter of resignation, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That committee that he's going to be serving on, there's some potential there. It would be nice if some people in the state of Maine realized that, is this on? Yes, good. It would be nice if there were some people in the state of Maine that realized that Pittsfield was in Maine. For those that attended the Christmas tree lighting the other night, poor Brad Farron got up and said it's great to be here in Portland.
In Portland? I couldn't hear anything.
Brad Farron is our senator.
Oh,
He came up after, he was pretty embarrassed.
Oh, sure.
Huh?
Remember that?
I don't know. I really wasn't sure, and I didn't want to pursue
I don't
it.
think so with Brad, be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just, his mind just, he was probably nervous and it just
Well,
went to Portland.
he called me about 20 minutes before 6, and he said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm at the gazebo."
I don't know.
And so
Where was he?
Portland.
Portland. So I don't know. That was, I felt badly for him, but you know, once once a politician, always a politician. It's an easy job to put your foot in your mouth. Okay, now down to the real stuff. Public hearings, we have none tonight. New business, proposed changes, site plan review ordinance, section 9.2, adequacy of road systems. This is the discussion at one of the last meetings of the minutes that we just approved. And it was one of the issues that I think Vaughn spoke passionately about. And in the packet, there's a proposal of proposed changes. Want to address it, Steve?
Yeah, pardon me?
Would you like to say a few
Well,
words?
I would just, if you agree with it, you could make the motion to set it at the next public hearing that the town will have.
Okay.
That way it will give us a lenience of making 2 or 3 at once.
Okay.
Do we go over this in any depth at all?
Yes,
We did.
I think so.
Was I here?
Yep.
Is this the last meeting?
This was,
Yeah,
Was this the August 12th meeting?
Yeah, the August 12th, in the minute.
Well, I gotta say, I've been reading this thing all night and I don't understand it.
I don't either. And so I would just like to
Go
give
over
a
holes,
bit
I
of
can take
clarity
that
on
and
that.
say everything I thought was wrong with it.
talk about it.
So the underlined sections is what was the only change, right? And what Vaughn's intent was that the town would hire the engineer and the applicant would reimburse us for that. The way it works now is that the client hires the engineer to do the site of the road evaluation. And
Now, is that, okay, when they go through that stage, does the engineer do a road study regardless? When the person that wants to build, do a development, hires an engineer, does that engineer, what generates the road study?
if there's over so many
Cars.
trucks.
Okay, so they'll have to do a count then, right? They'll have to actually find out what the traffic flow is through there, right?
Yeah.
So that's
If
what's
it
gonna,
increases it by a certain amount, and that's right in there. For some reason, there was a couple of these people, there we go.
It's 100.
100.
Basically, that's
peak hour
what
trips.
Vaughn wanted to do, was to get this person hired by the town and his cost reimbursed by the applicant.
okay, but is that being duplicated? Because I remember those discussions and he wasn't satisfied that, an owner with their engineer coming in may not be providing the right information, so we should do an independent road
And this
study.
person-
And then, so then the owner would have to pay for 2.
But I don't believe that's the case.
I think the intent is this will be the only one. The owner doesn't have to do one first and then.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure that not 2 have to be generated as an independent, other
Right.
than what the engineer and the builder or developer is doing.
Right. The only issue I can see is, like on this, it says for 100 or more peak hour trips. You don't know you got 100 or more until after the thing is done.
Yeah, well, that's probably, the traffic study will give you information that will allow them to guess at that.
Right.
But I wanna make sure that a new business coming into town doesn't have to carry the weight of every improvement if they just add.
And that's kind of what I see before, the last one in ends up paying the bill for the stoplights and everything else.
What I'm saying, if you've got 90 trips per hour now, and a new business adds 10 more, they're responsible for every change down the line to make up for that 100.
So that's where the town and state used to step in and help out with
Yeah.
that.
That's kind of, the way it kind of changes the whole character.
Well, I think the issue here was obviously Dunkin' Donuts.
Hmm.
And if another business goes down in there, and this is in place, they could get the new business could get socked with.
That's exactly
That's
right.
exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
New business could get hit with all.
You may have, like you said, with 90, then you get the next one in, and it puts it over that 100, then that next business is one that's gonna get zapped.
And I suppose it could be something as simple as somebody renting a building in the existing shopping center.
That's true.
Right.
Well, you're talking about what used to be Bangor Savings,
Well, that could be that.
because that's the one that came to mind. If something new goes in there,
Is,
that could bring additional people. Now, even though the shopping center is probably grandfathered, whatever the heck that means.
But I remember Dunkin' Donuts, and I remember when Plymouth Engineering was in here, we asked them if they did a study, and they said yes.
Yeah.
And then there seemed to be an issue with that afterwards. I mean, we're going on there.
Well, so, yeah, there was a state, and regardless of what happens on this road, the state's gonna do the study anyway.
Right, it's a
And
state.
that's when the duplication would come in. You know, do we need another study?
You know, the way I'm reading this right now, look, it almost reads to me that you know, that 100 number is just on that new business. It's not taking into account everything that's already there. Because it's basically required for developments that exceed 100 or more peak hour trips.
Okay, so whatever it is, plus that next, it's adding 100 more to it.
Well, that's
If
the way
you
it
already know what
reads.
it is, yeah.
Well, but then it says, based on the latest edition of the Trip Generation Manual of the Institute of Traffic Engineers, as may be amended from time to time. So, you know, what if it is already 100?
Right.
So I guess that could be clarified, so.
But isn't that another
maybe we
issue?
could seek our attorney's advice on this thing.
Yeah, because I don't wanna have a business come into town and say, well, wait a minute, am I gonna get hit for every traffic upgrade on every intersection within a mile of my business because I'm adding a few more cars per hour? That's gonna kinda make somebody think twice about putting a business in town.
I mean, if you ride through there, in theory, just looking around, there's probably really only one piece of property at that intersection that could be developed, right? That's on the other side of Walgreen. But I don't see anything being built in there because it'd be easier to get an exit and entrance off of 95. But,
Well, can they do anything more in the parking lot? Like, someone just said, about, you know, like they did with Dunkin' Donuts, put another one up beside that.
that's a possibility. And how far up the street do you want to go? Because Nitro Trailer is building a new building.
And this doesn't say that it's limited to any particular project. It says for a project that, you know,
Right.
could be anywhere in town.
Is that what we were discussing though last time, or was it more the redundancy of the study and who was paying for it? Isn't that where we were with this?
Well, I think the big issue was we never saw the study. The decisions were made without us looking at the traffic study at all.
I mean what we were trying to do here with this last time we were.
Which, yeah, we're trying to
Reviewing
be
this.
able to,
Trying to have a little bit of control on
yeah,
it.
we're trying to access the study so we know what we're voting on.
I mean, and that could be case by case, right? Knowing where they want to build, and then we could then add, moving forward, we'd say we want to see the traffic study if they've done one already.
Yeah, right, that would be good if we could, if they could give us the traffic study.
But don't we get that anyhow in the
We would get that, but for this change, just basically says that we would commission them and the applicant would pay for it. Where it is now, the applicant commissions it and pays for it.
But then we should be getting it when we do our approval of the project.
Right.
Because there's a traffic section there,
Right.
right? So did we not get,
Well, there isn't anything that says we have to, apparently.
Are you talking about Dunkin' Donuts or?
well, I'm just using that as the example.
Example, yeah, 'cause that was the one that brought it up to it anyways.
Now, the state did do a study though, right? They did their own study, traffic study,
On this road, these
In theory, yeah.
on Somerset
Yes.
Avenue. The problem is that if we hired an engineer and he determined or suggested, let's say in this case, they suggested a traffic light. And the state says, we're not, you can put it up, but you're not gonna run it because we've determined it's not needed. Where do we go with that?
You know, if the state would honor the study that was done, I would think they would want to. They would probably do something different to the intersection. Don't know that, but
I think there's a question as to, on Somerset Avenue anyway, is the state gonna do a study anyway? And,
Just generally speaking.
Right, yeah.
I mean, usually,
but it is, for instance, Nitro's, their traffic is going to increase. They bought 2 more lots up there for storage, I guess.
And they're gonna be hiring more people, so there's gonna be more employees there.
yeah, and that whole process, you know, part of the plan, of the site plan is the entrance permits and all that stuff, so that would generate in someone's, with the engineers or someone's eyes, the traffic study might need to be done. Or if we're reviewing it here, we could ask for one, if knowing what it, you know, where and what.
How is most of the traffic going into Nitro now? Through the industrial park or through by the car wash?
I don't know.
It's probably, from what I've seen, and I'm not parked down there, but from what I've seen, most of it I think goes in through the industrial park and then takes a left.
Right.
I know when they're pulling trailers out of there, they're coming out that way. You know, and the other, and this isn't necessarily related to this discussion, but one day last week, there was a tractor trailer truck coming out of the industrial park. I don't know why that sign hasn't been knocked over.
That's amazing. I've thought of that so many times.
You mean the island?
That's been hit a number of times.
I mean, many times, and he did, he hit it. The back of the trailer went up, and I mean, does that have to be there?
No. Down one.
I mean, we don't put flowers in it, so, I mean, but that's a tough place, and talking with, what's the guy's name at Nitro? Chad. And talking with Chad, what he's telling a lot of people is to go down through the center of town and come up the back way, you know, go down to Hancock Lumber and come in the back way so that you don't have to go through that crazy.
Well, the problem is, a lot of people over the road drivers now can drive straight ahead. Yeah, I see it all the time. You know, it's
What was that?
a lot of the trucking companies, the drivers they hire, can drive down the interstate, and that's about it.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I see people in compact cars like that.
Right. But, you know, it's a lot of the big warehouses for, you know, I don't want to say just necessarily Walmart, but places like that, they drive, those trailers, they drive up to the security guard. A driver for that company gets in, drives the truck and backs it up to the docks, and they bring it back because they've had too many issues. All you have to do is go to, look on YouTube for videos of truck stops, and I mean, it just make you cringe. But, you know, that's...
Right, Steve made a suggestion, I think, that we maybe send this to an attorney. Thoughts about that?
I think my bottom line question is the state gonna do a study anyway? And if they're gonna do a study anyway, and we require a study to be made, then I think we're gonna run into, either the company's not gonna wanna come to Pittsfield, or there's gonna be a legal battle.
Would the state only do a survey if it's on Somerset Ave?
State road.
It's on state road.
I don't know if it's required or not.
Well, because if, just say Nitro builds down on the industrial park more,
They're-
the state's not gonna be involved with that, but the still, traffic's still gonna go there.
Well, it's like within a mile of that intersection, right?
Right,
With
yeah.
that ordinance or whatever.
But
it
is
says right now. I
the
don't
state
think-
gonna care about it at that point?
I don't know. I don't know.
If the state will not do a study, and we can require the study, then everything's great. But if,
Right.
you know, I don't wanna get into some kind of legal tangle, because there's two studies, and
Right.
which one's right?
So if this is reworked to put something in there that there must be a study done by either,
Well, it could clarify it, you know, and the best way, I think, is if the state didn't do a study automatically, and I don't know if that's true or not. Or are there studies just on
Who
record?
calls the state to do a study? Do we call them, or does the client call the state? What triggers that to happen?
Probably some sort of a bad accident, but
I was
No, but I
thinking,
mean, in the case of a new project like that.
well, the way this reads in the past is it's up to the applicant's responsibility to arrange that, to provide that study. I'm not sure if this is.
if it's going onto a state road or state access road, they have to have proposal to the state for
Okay,
entrance.
Right, I mean, the entrance permits, then it probably
Okay.
depends, if
That
it's Dunkin' Donuts, you're gonna have a lot of traffic.
Sure.
Or if it's just, you know, a warehouse or something, and maybe not so much.
right,
But
right.
there's a lot more traffic.
But when you said-
Well, for instance, Dunkin' Donuts didn't need an entrance permit.
Right.
There was one there.
Already one there.
There was the
Yeah.
one there.
oh yeah, that's right.
No, when you said about the accident, I was thinking that just a few minutes ago, you know, there's gonna be a bad accident there, and then the things will be looked at again. You know, luckily, it's not real fast speed, so that's probably helped some, but
Well, there's just so many entrances into that
I know.
intersection, and people just,
when we're hauling feed,
Yeah.
it just, you know, I mean, sometimes truckers sit there for 5 or 10 minutes
Oh,
before you
yeah,
pull out.
yeah,
So a lot of times I send them over Crawford Road, you know, if we're going to PVQs or whatever. That way, coming the other way isn't too bad because you're going with the flow all the time. But
right, right.
So what would happen if we change that wording to say, an independent traffic study will be commissioned by the town and paid for by the applicant if the applicant's application does not have a traffic study?
Yeah, but I think Lon's problem was we never saw the traffic study that the state provided.
No,
Yeah.
that's maybe our fault.
Yeah. And we could make that a,
but you're going on the recommendation of probably a professional engineer that stamps the plans, right? You know, and that's what you can go by. You know, we here, I don't think anyone here is a professional engineer. You can say, I mean, you can give an opinion, but
Right.
Vaughn was given notice of this meeting, by the way. I won't do it to the other meeting because we accepted his resignation. But I thought he might want to come
I
tonight.
think it'd be, yeah.
So I sent him to say back to you guys.
He's probably running out of hours in the day.
You want to put this on hold?
I mean, I think having an option in there to request one is what we're looking for.
Right.
Yeah, and that's how we
And
word
that's
it.
what I was trying to say
Yeah, how we
here.
word it is. What needs to be figured out.
Does anyone want to reword that and we'll put it for the next meeting?
I don't really know how to reword it because there are a lot. If we can require it, that we hire the traffic study,
Or that we at least see it,
yeah.
that it's verified by the town.
Well, I don't think
But
that.
actually, the point
Would
of this
we
is
know?
to not do that, right?
The problem is, I think it's going to take an engineer to figure it out and understand it.
Right.
We're not doing a good job of understanding it right now, so, really.
Yeah, so that's getting into a whole nother cost to someone. And especially if they bring another independent engineer in to confirm or explain it.
Most of those projects of that size have an engineer that we can question, at least when they bring it.
Right, it's like with Dunkin' Donuts, you know,
Yeah.
with Scott Braley and
Sure.
Plymouth Engineering, yeah, absolutely. I think what Vaughn was getting at is having an independent study
Yeah,
other than what they've already done.
or at least requiring them to show their study, so that we we really know.
So if you strengthen the words in the application that a business brings in, that a study shall be submitted to the planning, a transportation study
Mhm.
should be submitted to, does that?
No, I can't really reword it right now. And the other thing is, how are we gonna know if it's required if the development exceeds 100 or more peak trips per hour by hour? How are we gonna know that before study?
How do we know it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until the study's done, how do we know it's gonna develop that kind of traffic flow?
Won't the person putting in the business have an idea?
Well, if they read it, they can move their number a little bit.
Yeah, their number might be much lower.
Yes, I agree with you. I don't like that number of 100
Yeah.
in there because it could go.
Yeah, it's not a bad number, but it's.
But if there's 90 now.
It's not really verifiable.
No, it's,
Yeah.
well, somebody could sit there with a counter, but get somebody that's retired, Royce.
I recommend that we come back to this.
Somebody want to table this, motion to table this discussion?
We table it.
Until additional information can be gathered.
I've got someone I can talk to who actually is a professional engineer and does this stuff,
Okay.
my brother. So,
No.
just get an opinion.
Is that quid pro quo or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Do I hear a motion to table this until more information can be
I
gathered?
make a motion that we table it till it can be clarified and if we have more.
Second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Did you vote? Okay.
Aye.
It might be worth going back and looking at the section of the application that somebody fills out and check the wording that's in there about traffic study. Make sure that it says something about, this traffic study should be
That might-
included.
yeah.
There is something that says it affects the flow of something, right? If I remember right.
There it is.
I'm not sure what you're asking me to do, I guess you got.
Nothing at this point, but I think after we think about this a little bit more, take a look at the application that somebody fills out for a new business and the traffic flow piece that's in that application, to
Okay,
make sure the wording in there says something about that, a report, a traffic flow report shall be
Yeah.
submitted with.
That's a good idea.
And I think in the future, we can just ask for more information during that, while they're sitting there. Give us the information.
Yeah. Okay. Next, temporary signs.
Is that what's changed, that's what's underlined on?
you know,
That was just added to what was there. Nothing.
I mean, I can understand the reasoning, but what is the motive behind that? We don't want signs advertising alcohol
Well,
or
where it came
cigarettes
from.
or, huh?
The dollar store had all these cigarette signs plastered all over the windows.
Yeah.
they had them out on the pole, if they've got a sign inside the window,
Yeah.
on the inside of the glass,
Yeah.
there's nothing you really can do about it.
Right.
But they had some out there on the light pole.
Could that say temporary signs erected outside of the building?
Yeah.
What you said, temporary signs means outside the building or?
Temporary signs that are erected outside of the building.
So we're saying permanent signs are okay?
Well, if they meet the,
Yeah, they meet the,
this article
This is-
only deals with temporary
Temporary
signs.
sign.
yeah.
We have a definition of temporary signs in the ordinance.
So would this have to go to hearing?
So we're just adding that last line that's
Yeah.
underlined.
Does this have to go to a public hearing, Steve?
Yes, it would be.
Yeah.
I wish it could be political signs too.
Well,
Caused by commotion.
those are controlled by the state.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
Well, they're supposed to be, that's what it's happening.
Well, there are some places now that certain locations are banning, basically because of traffic flow or traffic vision and stuff like
Well, there
that.
aren't supposed to be all kinds of signs right next to the highway,
Yeah, you can't-
anywhere, and they're all over the place.
So you would add the word temporary outside signs?
Outside. Temporary signs erected.
Temporary exterior signs,
Yes, temporary exterior signs.
Exterior.
because anything inside, we have no control over anyways, so to speak.
Yep.
Well, we could recommend that change and if you wanted to, and then send it to public hearing in our next
Yep.
public hearing.
Does the council still have the moratorium on marijuana sales?
No, it's expired, but now the police chief and I went to a training course on that over, of all places, Seoul. Not in the hotel, well, not in the hotel.
Smoke-filled room?
And what I'm trying to learn about it and understand it is it's complicated like you would not believe. So we're working on it, but the town can't have this until applicants can't be approved unless the town, what they call opt-in. So if somebody's having a marijuana sales and the town hasn't and adopted in, opted in, they're creating a civil offense, a criminal offense, excuse me. So I think we've probably got 3 places in town here that deal with marijuana. 2 of them we suspect and 1 of them we know. So we're trying to find a way to deal with it.
No, you're talking selling, not the growing.
Yeah.
Not the
selling,
commercial
growing,
one.
it depends on what you do after you grow it, is what the rules are. A
Yeah,
caregiver
the
can have
amount
so many
of-
plants, and then a private individual can have so many plants. And,
Well, they can have so many adult plants, so many that are,
seedlings. And,
yeah,
yeah. It is a really confusing situation.
yeah. It's very confusing. I mean, you'd almost have to go door to door, wherever people have a grow light, whether they're growing orchids or pot, and count the plants and grade I mean, I just can't even see that it's enforceable at all. I mean, unless you have a huge police force,
Mm.
you know. Crazy.
Okay, so if we add that, can you read that? What you just added there?
Temporary
Yeah.
exterior signs erected for the purpose of advertising cigarettes, alcohol, marijuana, or other controlled substances are not permitted.
Okay, do I have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to accept that, or accept that change and set it
Send
to
the next.
next public hearing if scheduled.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? Shit, I gotta get rid of those signs I just had printed. Damn. Okay.
Put them in your window.
Good point. Good idea. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. New old business. proposed changes to the use chart table P&Q for tiny houses. This looks like one of my computer screens that's going crazy. You want to talk about this, Steve?
It's a situation that requires some more study. But one of the things that bothers me about it is that ordinance that is made use of our building and energy code ordinance. This addresses basically the inside of the building. Those things are wider, are taller than they are wide. What stops them from being blown over? If it's a mobile home, you'd have to anchor it to the ground. But the ordinance doesn't say that here. And I've put some information into MUBEC, which is all of the offices of, not MUBEC, MOBIA, the building officials organization, to get some input from some of the other CEOs that have been dealing with this and see what they've come up with. But that's the thing that bothers me. And then if it's a manufactured home, how does it get inspected? And is the inspection firm that does that, is that some sort of official firm? It's a confusing situation.
When I read this thing, I thought, God, I wouldn't even be able to stay in one of those for a day. I'd be nervous just, and all the little spaces that are allowed, and claustrophobic.
Mm.
And stairways, and how do they even put a stairway in one of those?
Well, it's in this computer screen mess up that Tom was talking about. Jimmy. So one way to allow them, or start to allow them, would be just to eliminate from the charts there the minimum size, and that would affect all small buildings as well as just those tiny homes.
Yeah. Could you have it, only residential uses, or?
Well, if you go to the chart here, that's what we're talking about with the
Residential.
residential.
And rural.
For instance, in R1, which is up and around the Birchwood Terrace area, the building size, the minimum is 1,200 square feet, and then it's 750 in some of the other districts. So what are you doing?
So is this not allowing
We're
tiny
just dealing
homes?
with the 400 square footage.
This would stop me right now from permitting one, because the minimum size has to be, depending on what area, but 750 square feet
Right.
to 1,200.
So in a C4 district, that would be okay.
That's not a tiny house.
C4.
No, because they're smaller than 750.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have a minimum of 14 feet wide.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about the ones on trailers that people build.
Oh, no, that's,
Yeah, that's right, building down the width, but I don't know how I missed that, but that would be a problem too.
That are 8 feet wide.
well, the ones that are being mobile mini homes that's a whole other category, right? Or-
Those are tiny houses.
yeah.
Oh, we
Yeah.
talked about
I
that.
don't know how these
The
houses.
idea around them is they can be moved by whoever owns them. They advertise that. Your job changes, you can hook onto your home and haul it to the next place.
So does that change everything? Does that then put it into make it like a camper?
No, it's Yeah, I apologize, I completely spaced out of the minimum width size.
So I'm not sure what the question is here.
Pardon me?
What's the question?
Is this something you people want to consider? I was just, at this point in time,
Have you had any real applications or anybody?
we got one illegal one.
So we have one illegal down over 100.
Yep.
And it's illegal because it's,
That's not permitted. They just parked it there.
so it's built on a trailer, an 8-foot wide trailer?
It's built on a trailer, you know.
Right.
It would be one thing if they're all factory built, but then if we get you do it yourself or to build one, I don't know.
I want to put you on the spot for a second. Okay. And you may or may not be able to answer this. Because of, what you do and you get around and all that kind of stuff. Do you have a sense of how many people, whether it be people with houses or people with businesses, are really looking to buy property in town?
Geez, I can't answer that, Janet. I haven't heard of anybody looking to buy property, no. You mean for, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you mean a lot, or did you mean something with a structure on it? Property is kind of a loose word.
What the inventory for houses right now for sale is what? Less than 10?
Yeah, it's low.
It's
And
pretty
it's
low.
normally around 50.
Right.
So there's a demand for something.
Well, and that's kind of where I was trying to go with that. And I guess my thinking is that, with the location of Pittsfield, depending upon where somebody's working, Bangor, Waterville, even Augusta, it is kind of a good location. So if somebody came in and wanted to say, we want to put up something, and we want to use these kinds of homes, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to use the places that are out on Route 100 as the example. I mean, those are kind of tiny, but those aren't small houses, right? The ones
They're
that,
not tiny houses.
huh?
They're not tiny houses.
They're
They're
not
not
tiny,
tiny.
but
I
they're
think
small.
tiny houses was actually coined, a phrase was taken and was patented as such, a tiny house built on an 8-foot trailer. They offer courses, you spend several $100s and you go and you learn how to build yourself a home, and they're very popular with people in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
And they climb up into the loft and sleep, and that is their home.
But I guess, I was thinking, all right, so somebody rides through, they go by SAS building, they see those 34 acres sitting there, and they say, wouldn't it be interesting to put 10 of those houses that are like on Route 100 in that location for senior citizens or somebody like that? Is anybody doing that? Or are they just whizzing by on 95 and not stopping at all? I mean, I know there's supposed to be a economic development committee that's working on some things, but I really haven't seen and if you put something on Nitro, yeah, that's going to raise some taxes, some property taxes. But houses raise taxes also. And the reality is, I think you're more likely to get people who are looking for a house rather than to get a company to move in here, because there's a number of reasons.
Yeah, one of the things that, in town, general close to proximity to town, not a lot of lots available.
Right.
You get in the rural district, and there's potentially a lot of lots, but most of them are good sized lots. And, myself included, there's places you could sell house lots and stuff, but then you don't want to get into subdivision laws and all those other things. Because there's not a lot of 1 or 2, 3 acre lots out there. Most everything, if you travel Higgins Road and Snake Road and everything, a lot of these lots are, a small lot is 20 acres, and a lot of them are 100 acres plus. So they're, I've had people asking about a piece of land or whatever, but, you know, I'll split it once possibly, but, you know, they still don't want, you know, 80 or 90, 100 acres.
We've got rules for trailers and manufactured housing. We've got rules for campers and RVs. And it seems like the tiny homes are kind of similar in a lot of ways to.
I
Except
don't
they're
know if we have that addresses campers. I tried to
you
get
can't
some,
live in them.
you know, I tried to get some ordinance passed that would address that, and they didn't want to do it. So,
Yeah.
if you remember or not.
Yeah, I remember we tried to, but didn't pass, but it seems basically like they're homemade campers or homemade RV units, just bigger than.
Yeah, the only exception is they're insulated and built to house standards. With the exception
Is there a way to qualify that they're built to house standards? If
of,
they're
yeah,
homemade?
this is it right here.
Okay. So you,
I picture, I don't know, I have a hard job. I picture somebody who's got one of those and then they need three or four sheds to store their stuff.
Yeah.
Or they store it outside or they tuck it underneath. I don't think it's a good idea, but.
Yeah, that's not the house for a hoarder.
that's the point, minimalistic living is the point.
You know, if you built a nice new home, and there's all kinds of them up there in the Birchwood Terrace area, Hamilton Drive.
Yeah.
If you built up there, would you want one of those in the lot next door?
Okay, so when somebody's building a house, you're going to inspect it as it's being built, make
Yeah.
sure it's being built correctly.
Mm.
So what if somebody's got a house already made and they towed it up on
Yeah,
the trailer? How do you know?
yeah, what if, yeah.
You know?
I mean, somebody up there wants to put in a motel on their property, right? Never mind.
You lost me on that one.
Yeah, no, I didn't. You'll think about it in the middle of the night. I want to put a Marriott hotel on the back portion. Of the
Oh,
property.
you, yeah.
Yes.
He wants a 4-story, I said, well, 3 stories maximum, but if you build a 4-story up there, you'll probably sink 1 story anyway.
That's especially right now. Ooh. Okay.
I got a question, and I think I've asked you before, Steve, some of these in-town lots that have these older homes on it that should be gone.
Mm.
You can tear that down, you said you can rebuild there?
You have
Is it a year, you said?
a year's grandfathering clause as far as setbacks go.
So you could build the same footprint?
Well, you got a setback as far as practical as deemed by me, but
Which is?
if you can't build a house without exceeding setbacks, then you can be grandfathered into less of a distance. If it was only 10 feet away. There's an example of that up on Highland Avenue. There's 2 garages that are about 5 feet apart.
Mm.
And that's because there was 2 garages 5 feet apart and they built a new one and it was before I got here, but it was decided that they could do that because of that grandfathering clause.
Where would you look at if first setback from the road or setback from another property?
Be both setbacks from another property and setbacks from the road.
You know, which is more critical to the town?
Well,
Yeah. Just say now the house or building that was there is 10 feet too close to the road,
yeah.
but you know they're 10 feet too close to the property line behind them too. You know, which is more critical. You know, it's.
I don't think it'd be a case of which is more critical, what can you physically do, you know?
Yeah, because if they couldn't move it one way or the other,
Mm.
then they'd be
I
grandfathered.
mean, if you had a lot and that you had 10 feet all the way around it, and you wanted to replace that building, there's nothing, no place you could move it to make it right. So if you did it within a year, you'd get permission to do it.
What if it's not within a year? What about that, like the lot on corner of Peltoma and Main Street? You know, the house that burned, it
Yeah.
tore down, I
It's
mean, is
been
that?
empty for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, what happens now if it goes beyond a year? And you
Then they
can't,
have to abide by the setbacks or get a variance, one or the other.
Probably just waiting for this, hopefully the state will buy it out.
yeah,
Make a bigger
make a
corner.
better corner of it, yeah.
What do you want to do with this, Steve?
Good question.
There's no demand right now, right? But it's not like this, doesn't mean
but
it should
we
have
should
something in
be
place.
prepared,
Yeah, it should
yeah.
be something in place.
It's
Well,
really-
you can recommend more studies or recommend that you don't think that that's appropriate for Pittsfield.
Should they go to a public hearing? It's like you said, you plop a 20 by 20 house up in Forest Park beside someone that has
Yeah,
something significantly bigger. I mean,
Maybe.
also the house is gonna bring up your house,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
your house is gonna bring down theirs.
But they'd pay more for the lot than their house would be worth.
Right, but it could happen though, right?
I suppose. I can't imagine it, but.
Well, almost any almost any lot in Pittsfield, you know, they pay more than almost more than the house is worth.
Right. Yeah, the value's in the lot anyways, that's some of these old places.
I don't think we'd have to cut the size of the house down into all districts. So I don't think,
yeah, that would be my other suggestion. Maybe you wouldn't want to do it
yeah,
in R1 and maybe only do it in R3, R2, or even R3.
find a place where a small house would work and, not.
I mean, I think a small house would work in some of these in-town lots where a big old house should come down.
Mm-hmm.
That's the place to do it. Rather than an established subdivision somewhere, you know, that's, you know, my thought.
That little house on West Street, that's very small. You know, the little one, the second one in.
Oh, I know which one you mean.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
very tiny.
It is very
Well,
tiny.
Beverage's house, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Isn't it
Yeah,
by the- yeah,
yeah,
that tiny,
yeah.
yeah.
Why don't we keep talking about this one for a while?
Yeah.
If that's okay?
Well, do what?
Keep talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
No action at this point.
Do we need to table it or no? Where it's not a,
We'll just bring it up at another time.
Yeah, we can bring it up another time. So-
Yeah, you might want to think it over and think about the minimum width now and also what district you might want to allow them in.
See, I think that probably makes a little bit more sense in terms of a district rather than
Right.
just anywhere.
Yeah.
You can go online and read about them as well, how they're built and so forth.
How big are the ones on 100 square footage?
How it's,
What Chris is building, Chris.
Yeah, there's some that are 30 by
those
30.
over there, I don't know how, what.
There's some that are 30 by 30 and there's some that are 24 by 30, something like that, so.
Yeah.
so they're not really small.
No, they're
It's not
nice,
tiny.
But,
they're nice.
you know, they're just,
But they might be small on 1,200 square feet.
Yeah, they're small, they're about 900 or a little less than that, but they got the cathedral ceilings on them, they're nice, 2 bedrooms and
Mhm.
They seem to be selling.
renting.
That would be nice if we
Is
Is
had.
that what he's doing? Is
Renting, yeah, not selling, just renting.
Ah, I didn't know that.
And there's a demand,
Yeah.
demand.
Some of them are single homes.
no,
Yeah.
they're all,
Couple
They're all,
of them.
they're all duplex, well, yeah, some, you're right, some are single homes, yes, and then there's some duplexes.
Well, there are those small ones just after the line that
Yes.
are quite small,
Yes,
that have a garage separate.
I know, yeah,
Yeah.
with that grouping.
Yes,
If you
there are
look
like
towards the back
two
of
or
them,
three
there
of
are a
them,
couple
yeah.
of them that are single homes.
Yeah.
What's going on under 100 on the right-hand side of the woods there?
the house, right? Looks like a
I
house.
don't know.
And up way up in back, looks like
Yeah.
a garage or something.
What town?
well, that's Detroit.
Detroit.
There's a big garage.
It's right
in
across from
front.
the old farmstead there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Emerson home now.
The big garage or big
Well,
building
I
near
thought
the
it was
road and
clearing
then
near there.
Yeah.
way in
Yeah, well,
there's
they've got
looks like a
garage
house.
in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna,
But you wanna keep
we're gonna keep this
That's
kind of
Yeah.
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 Everybody think about it, we'll talk about it
I'm
again
not
for
quite
next
sure
meeting.
what we're trying to
Okay,
do.
we got one more major item to talk about tonight. We're gonna really get down and roll around in sludge.
And that's again, I got some information together, and I thought maybe you guys would want to review it, read it, and go over it again at the next meeting.
This is sludge.
Sludge.
Sure it's not ash, it's sludge.
Ash is not sludge.
I know. We're sure it's not that. We're talking about it's really sludge.
And like we talked, the word sludge years ago got put on everything, and so now anytime anybody sees that word sludge, they automatically think municipal sewage sludge, and it isn't always the case. But
Yeah.
It sounds like our ordinance could be as simple as stating that the person that sells sludge has to be licensed by the state, and his person and he has to have a plan to go with his sludge on how much it can spread and so forth. A requirement of the state. So, maybe that's all we need to do, is just say that it has to, anybody doing that, spending it on the land has to provide a copy of that license and a copy of that instruction.
Grabs a smell.
not all the sludge ships bounce.
How do you know which one will and which one won't?
Smell is the least thing you need to worry about for anything like that. Realistically, smell is usually either in hours or days. Anything else potentially can be,
Lead
Yes.
and arsenic and
and that's the
heavy
thing.
metals.
That's the thing you can run into with different types of municipal sludge. But sludges, that are called sludges from some of the paper mills that are basically just a byproduct of the wood pulp and things of that sort, are just basically raw materials. And even some of the lime products that we've used in the past, some of them they used to call lime sludge just because it was still a wet, sloppy material. So described it as a sludge, but it really wasn't. It was just a wet lime. They've tried to get away from calling it those things, so people don't associate. So now, but a lot of it's either wet mill lime or things of that sort.
I like Steve's idea. I would recommend that we direct Steve to put together something real simple, like if the state approves it. I mean, the state's great at giving out sludge, so if the state approves guidelines, then we just adopt those and bring those back as an ordinance.
Because like the Casella company that deals with New England Organics is a Casella division that deals with all these types of products from mills and all these other things, and that's all licensed through the state, and so all that work is being done someplace. You just have to get it, as far as studies and tests and everything else.
Also, the Casella representative said he'd be glad to come to our meeting and talk about this. Would you like to have me schedule it for the next meeting?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no hurry about doing this, I don't think.
Right.
So, let's do that for the next meeting.
Tom, what's Hawk Ridge? Is that Casella now? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, when are we gonna have the public hearing?
Whenever the next one is scheduled. We weren't going to schedule one until something important started. I don't think
So we could group the two together.
Okay. Other items to come before the board. Anybody have anything?
I had something on. I was watching the town council meeting the other night, and Route 100 is 2021 now. Is that what they were saying?
That's what they're saying, 2021.
Yeah. Now, is anybody looking at the infrastructure of the utilities, water, sewer, make sure everything's okay there before that gets done?
I'm going to say, I think so.
Yeah.
So what are they supposed to do to the
They're
road?
going to tear it up and new sidewalks. and
Sidewalks.
Oh, you're talking right in town.
In town, yeah. Out to what, from Frosties or something like
So,
that.
yeah, and I guess my question to Steve, when that happens, will we have anything to do with that? Probably not, right?
Probably not.
Yeah, that was supposed to be done 2019.
Was it? Was that long ago?
Huh?
Was that long ago we voted on it? Time flies.
I mean, I was just asking that as a,
Yeah, no, I was gonna mention that that's, so.
I mean, because the main drain and the sewer department was again out on Main Street there the other day doing something with that sewer line. And just curious if they're
Well-
gonna address that before they redo that roadway.
Yeah, they will. It's my understanding that yes, and that's gonna be I'll keep my comments for later.
Didn't they do some work down there by the filling station on 100 South?
Below it were near the stables.
Yeah.
They did all the culverts and things down there.
No,
That's
the
been-
sewer
The
line.
sewer line?
They were digging right there by that gas station. Brown's, is it?
Oh, CN Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a year or two ago.
The state,
No, the town.
Yeah.
that old hill there is a mess anyways. Drainage and everything coming down off that hill.
Yeah, but they were doing something in front of
Right,
CN Brown
I
area
remember.
because I remember having to go around it,
That's right, I remember
Flaggers and
seeing
stuff.
that, yeah.
Mm.
but I guess I don't remember.
Anything else?
When you said Route 100, I was thinking. Route
Right,
100.
I always do, I go out of town. Route
That was
100.
supposed to have been,
Either way. Either way.
they've been
Main
looking at
Street,
that for
all the
30
way
years.
around.
Yeah.
Okay. I will take a motion to adjourn, and everybody needs to take some cookies because I don't want to take all of these.
I'll make-
Cookies come for tomorrow.
I'll make a motion we adjourn the meeting.
Second that motion.
And
That a motion?
Since nobody is.
And I'll make a motion to take your cookies.
You got it.
Second, third.
We want to turn the camera off now?
Still running.
So you might turn that off, Steve.
Yeah.
No, the camera.
Now, we could vote.
That way we don't get in trouble.
I watched that the other day. I was like an old man.